Rohr 8 Typ F 1375 PS 1933-34. The Rohr 8 is a car of the upper middle class, which the automobile company Rohr Auto AG brought out the 1927. The model was characterized by a particularly good road holding, which was due to the rear swing axle, pendulum axle, and the long wheelbase. The rear axle was still behind the rear bench. The front wheels were attached to an axle-less construction with two transverse leaf springs. A swing axle with cantilever semi-springs was used at the rear. The vehicle had an 8-cylinder OHVN line engine installed at the front, which drove the rear wheels via a 3-speed gearbox. In contrast to the chassis, the 2-liter engine of the first Type R 840 PS was not convincing. At certain speeds it tended to resonate and consumed a lot of gasoline and, above all, oil. In addition, the car's engine output of 40 horsepower was disappointing. Only about 100 copies were made by 1928. In 1928 the engine was revised, its displacement increased to 2.3 liters and the output to 50 horsepower. This type was called RH-R8 Type R 950 PS. The result was a little better, but the decisive breakthrough in the market did not materialize. Around 1,000 cars were produced by 1930. In 1930 the entire car was modernized, when the engine was further enlarged to 2.5 liters displacement and 55 horsepower. The cylinders were offset from one another by 10 degrees in a V-shape, VR engine, which did not lead to a greater overall length despite the larger bore. Volkswagen applied the same principle to the Passat VR6 and Golf VR6 models in the early 1990s. In addition, the body was significantly lengthened and widened. The new RH-R8 Type R 1055 PS could not be sold any better, so that Hans Gustav RH-R had to file for bankruptcy in 1931. Neue RH-R AG, then founded by the Swiss RH-R general agent Jules Andreas Heinz, continued to build the car until 1933, but no more than 350 copies were made. The new owner then had Ferdinand Porsche design a completely new car. He had already completed construction documents from an order from Wanderer, but they were not used there. In 1933 the RH-R8 Type F 1375 PS appeared. With its exterior dimensions enlarged again, it offered a 3.3-liter engine with 75 horsepower, which finally achieved the performance that one would expect from an 8-cylinder car. Nevertheless, only 250 cars had been delivered by 1934. The body was designed and manufactured by the company Gulzer Car itself, Dresden. For those customers who wanted even more power, the RH-R Olympier Type F Gate 13/75/100 PS appeared in 1934. It had the same engine as the Type F, but had a switchable Zoller compressor. The front wheels were guided on both sides with two rocker arms. The suspension was taken over by two transverse torsion bars. This was the first time this principle was used in a production vehicle. The elaborate construction made the car very expensive, 14,500 to 16,500 Reichsmarks, and after delivery of around 20 cars, production of the RH-R8 was discontinued in the same year 1934.